I had no idea that what I did 30 seconds after my ex said she was breaking up with me would change everything. I felt like the ground had been ripped out from underneath me, but the words I spoke in that moment would set the course for something I never thought possible. The sickening sinking feeling gripped me, and I felt my chest tighten as if all the air had been sucked out of the room. For a moment, I was paralyzed, drowning in the impulse to beg her to stay, to somehow fix everything with the right words. But somewhere buried beneath the pain, I knew that if I let myself go down that path, I would lose any chance of reclaiming her respect. Any hope of us ever getting back together would vanish. I knew if I begged and pleaded, if I tried to out-logic how she felt, any chances of reconciliation would go from slim to none. So I did the only thing I could do, and it was something she didn't expect. Let's get into it. My name is Nick and welcome to The Love Fix, your go-to spot for no-nonsense yet compassionate breakup and reconciliation advice. If today's video wasn't quite enough to help you through your situation, I'd love to offer more personalized guidance. You can book a one-to-one online coaching session with me for bespoke advice tailored to your breakup, or if you're looking for something more in-depth, check out my book. It dives deeper than these videos ever could. You'll find all the links in the description below. Contrary to popular belief, my ex and I were close to a reconciliation. She had dropped a bombshell text on me a week or two before the final breakup conversation. At the time, I didn't want to face what it meant, but it was there hanging in the air. The final conversation lasted 2 or 3 hours. I can't really remember now, it's been so long. We were finding compromises, talking things through, but I kept trying to out-logic how she felt and shutting her down. Every time she opened up, I closed her off with my need to fix things logically rather than hearing her out emotionally. I didn't realize it then, but this only further reinforced her decision to end the relationship. By this point, she had emotionally checked out, and that was my fault. I couldn't change what came before, but I could start doing things differently. As I sensed the battle was lost, I said the following to my ex after she said she wanted to break up. I don't agree with your decision, but I will respect it. I will pack a bag and leave, but if I leave, it will be with the intention to leave for good. Unless you contact me, you'll never hear from me again. If you change your mind about us, give me a call. The words that I just said there felt like they were tearing me apart from the inside out, but somehow I managed to say them. Behind her emotionally exhausted eyes was a look of surprise. She didn't expect that. Little did I know at the time, what I had just done would solve a huge problem. Firstly, I gave her what she wanted, the breakup. More than anything else, the dumper just wants relief at this point. They've been building this moment up in their head for a long time, and the last thing they want is resistance to their decision. If you resist, you only make it harder for them to feel at peace with their choice. When you can give them that relief, when you can show them that you can listen without trying to argue or change their mind, it gives them a sense of closure. It shows them that you are capable of hearing them, truly listening to understand, not to respond. This is something I didn't realize at the time, but it was one of the most important things I could do. The second thing I solved, without realizing it, was setting my own boundaries and intentions. By saying that I would no longer chase her, I made it clear that I wouldn't follow her decision with desperation. I also communicated that if there was to be any future for us, it had to be her reaching out to me. I would only consider a reconciliation if she contacted me first. But why is that so important? Every decision we make has consequences, and the dumper doesn't get a free pass. It was their idea to leave, so it must be their idea to come back. If I had made it easy for her to return without any genuine desire from her, the relationship would have always been one-sided. The love wouldn't have been the same. Additionally, when you say, please only contact me if you want to reconcile, you are not just setting a boundary, you are telling them that just being friends isn't enough. You're not going to settle for something less than what you want, which is a healthy, loving relationship. It's a statement of self-respect, and in doing so, you teach yourself the value of walking away and choosing something better, not just settling for anything that comes your way. This not only allows you to operate from a position of strength, But it ensures that you are communicating something crucial, even if you are hurting on the inside. You show them that you will be okay with or without them. This is the key. When you act from a place of self-respect, your ex sees you as someone who has emotional maturity and fortitude, not someone they pity, ignore, or resent. If there is any chance for a reconciliation, two fundamental things need to be in place: respect and willingness to try again from the dumper. You can't control the latter, but you can certainly command the former. You set the tone by putting your boundaries in place and making your intentions clear. Begging, pleading, stalking their socials, none of that will work. It makes you look needy, and neediness makes you invisible to the person you want to notice you. If you want to get their attention, you have to give them the gift of silence, because nothing speaks louder than silence. By stepping back and saying, "I won't contact you unless you reach out," you communicate that you won't chase them and you won't settle for anything less than a genuine desire to fix things. In a way, this silence gives both of you a chance to reflect, heal, and really think about whether a reconciliation is what you both truly want. If your actions align with your words, they will hear that loud and clear. Looking back now, I realized that I did what I needed to do, not just for her, but for me. I wasn't begging her to stay. I wasn't clinging on to something that had already slipped through my fingers. I showed her, well, more importantly, I showed myself that I could walk away with my dignity intact. What I didn't realize at the time was that I was also giving her what she needed, the space to make her own decision without pressure or guilt. She had already emotionally checked out, and maybe the hardest thing for her was to admit that at the time. But in that silence, we both got the chance to reflect on what had gone wrong, what had worked, and what we both really wanted. If there was any hope for us, it would be because she came to me, not the other way around. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is to give someone the space they need, but in doing so, you give yourself the respect you need. And when that happens, your ex will either realize they want you back, or they'll respect you enough to let you go for good. Either way, you've taken the most empowering step you can. You chose yourself. And that, my friends, is sexy as fuck. I know breakups can feel like an emotional roller coaster, but remember this: healing starts with taking care of yourself first. By setting boundaries, respecting both your own feelings and your ex's, and giving yourself the space to grow, you are not just moving on from the relationship, you are moving forward into a stronger, more self-assured version of yourself. Trust that this moment, painful as it is, doesn't define your worth. It's just a chapter in a much bigger story. If you want to know more about no contact and how it affects the dumper, there is a video appearing on your screen that will help explain this. As always, you are enough. You're gonna be okay. This has been The Love Fix, and I will see you on the other side.